This is such a big thing, right?
Thank you.
Come on, Jim. Good morning, Colin.
Morning.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. Fantastic. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for-
I wanted to be kind of businesslike.
Can I see the other girl?
Hello and welcome to Qatar's first sports podcast, In the Game. I'm your host, Steve Mackey, and we can't wait to introduce you to everything that is sports here in Qatar and afar. We're going to be bringing you personalities, company owners, institutions, individuals that are making a real difference. So, with us, enjoy the journey.
It's fun, man. Sports is fun.
Hello and welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast. It's that time again. We've got another cohort from QST. I'm so excited about this one because I've got a friend called Hassan. He's coming on the show today. We're going to be, and we've got Hassan as well. Sorry, I nearly forgot you that then, Hassan. I wanted to get onto the name of the company, but we've got a special one. You're coming on today to talk about NSAtech. Please, Hassan, please, welcome to the show. Hassan, welcome to the show. So tell us a bit about yourself, Hossein.
Hello, everyone. Hello, dear Steve. Thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you for give this big opportunities for introducing NSAtech. Thank you so much.
So come on then, tell us all about NSAtech. How did it all begin in the very beginning? What was it like? How did you come up with the concept?
Mm-hmm. NSAtech came from some problems and gap in the sports, and especially for coaching athletes in the amateur level and professional level. And with the NSAtech, we can track the motion and analyzing of the movement, 2D and 3D analyzing, and we can provide the data for coach to track the mistakes, track the weakness and strengths in the technique from amateur and professional, all ages, all levels for the tennis and the soccer. And for talent identification, traveling to the other country need to pay money and expensive, and there's no technologies accurate more for finding talents all around the world. NSAtech bring technologies that you can provide the technologies you can turn on your camera and get a capture from your talents all around the world, and you can share your talents easily with the top level coach all around the world without any limitation, and very easy. And our coach, we have some agreement contract with the top level coach, and coach can give a feedback and share the review and opinion about the talents, and you can see a new talents all around the world, and the technologies can find the and compare the technique and posture from the amateur levels to professional levels with the elite player. We collected more than 100,000 video frame of elite player like Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and Rafa Nadal. And for soccer, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and something like that. And we collect the open source data and regarding to copyright. And with that, we bring interactive tools for analyzing the technique for amateur and professional levels.
When the journey first started with you, what were you doing? Were you involved in this side of the bit? What were you doing? How did you come up with this idea and concept?
Hossein, can you answer?
You know, the point that I think Steve is interested in to know is exactly the very first step, that why we raise this. If I want to complete Hossein's talk, the main idea and the main concept comes from this performance gap that in very different places all around the world, maybe the access to the very professional coaches or even the place is quite hard. And in this era, which the COVID-19 pandemic is so common, and we are all involved in it, it's much worse. So the main concept comes from this point, that we try to put the person who wants to be perfect very, very close and very accessible to the online training, regardless of the place, regardless of the level, regardless of the professionalism he is in or she's in. And so we try to put this into practice. That's what we targeted to.
Perfect. And you've got 11 members in your team, if I'm right.
Right. Yes.
When you first started this idea, how many did you start with?
In honestly speaking, just 2 members. We started with just 2 members, and we trying hard every day for develop our mind, for brainstorming. We have many ideas and technologies at the first, and step by step trying to provide and to reach the pure technologies for the one market and one technologies. And we start with 2%. AI side, and I am in PhD in exercise physiology and sports science as a innovation idea and brainstorming.
That was a good combination. That's a good combination. So your application, yes. What you can do is if you're in the UAE, so I could be a tennis player. I could take some I can take some videos of my son or daughter. And then what I can do, instead of having to travel halfway around the world, I could send these that will take those film into 2 and 3D, and they can go to the best coaches around the world and they can virtually see how my daughter or son performs.
Yes, I should say that about the real story that's around us. And here yesterday, and we have a call from the mother of the son about a tennis player in the amateur levels. She said me, there is some worries about the, for example, technique, and there is no data for example, analyzing the technique and the strengths and weakness of the technique. And they will go to the London for living, and there's a tennis academy in London, and ask about that, which part of your son in the technique it's more than power, and which part it's a weak. And the mother came toward the coach and asked from the coach, which part of my son is weakness, and which part of body of my son it's for example strength. And coach can't answer anything. And there is no technologies, dear Steve, for progressing, for monitoring the mistakes and analyzing the technique. And with these technologies, player, family, parents, academy, and clubs can see the progress, can see the effective of the coach for the player to progress, and for player and one-to-one, and weekly feedback and weekly progress notification from top-level coaches and from our technologies. NSAtech provide the technologies, can clubs and academy can see the reality of the performance of the coach in the clubs for progress the player. And the family and parents can see the progress, can see the new analyzing about the technique, weakness, and strengths for the player, for example, son and daughter. I think very helpful.
And you said very helpful. I think it's if there's nothing out there and you're providing this technology, I think it's tremendous. And just give me some feedback on what the coaches are giving you. So what are the coaches thinking about this new technology that you're providing?
Yes, I do smile because we got many positive feedback from many top-level player and coach. We got a positive feedback from the Fernando Verdasco coach, Diego Dinimo. We had a meeting with him, and he said that it's very amazing especially for amateur player to professional player, for see the realistic analyzing about the technique. and where I am, and how can I raise my technique and improve my technique, and that is very amazing for them. And dear Steve, human eyes can see this analyzing. I am tennis coach, and I have experience to work with other players in the amateur levels and professional levels in Iran and UAE. And I have so many errors. I see so many errors. We got many video from all around the world with many errors and mistakes in technique. And this is very good for monitor that. And we got a positive feedback from the Francesco Mendo, Rafa Nadal Academy experienced coach. He said, this is incredible and amazing. And we got more than 50 video from the main origin and the player and family and parents and player. We got many positive feedback because that's very new technologies, very new for go to the market for tennis and soccer, and very cool for get a customer. That is very useful for get a customer in the COVID-19 pandemic, because you can train with your favorite player technique and posture at home with our interactive tools. And many positive feedback from the Saad Al-Shib, goalkeeper Assad, and the Qatar national soccer team, and some feedback from the Mo Ali, Manchester City, and Bayern Munich, their coach, and many positive feedback.
Oh my word, I'm ecstatic for you. It's kind of and when did you start? When was all this type of feedback coming back? Was it a year ago? How long have you been going now, your startup?
Funded in 2020.
2020, and you're getting all this feedback already.
Yes.
That is phenomenal. And there isn't, you say about tennis, okay, there isn't a sport that this isn't going to be good for. This is going to be good for every sport.
Yes. Algorithm is very important there, Steve, for AI, artificial intelligence and deep learning analyzing and technologies. And we reached to the perfect algorithms, and we developed it for soccer in QST program for FIFA 2022, for get a much more better experience for fans as a fan gates for FIFA. And we have we got some suggestion from the paddle and basketball, and we can develop it for other sports very easily in the short time. And but we trying hard more than 1 year, and every day, every night, and every time, and we reach to the big algorithms for that, and in the patent pending process.
I remember, and I remember because we got introduced by Dr. Camilla, and we started talking, and you were just coming out with all of these ideas, and how can I do this, and how can I get better at that, and what can I do? Can you give me any advice? Can we do this? Can we do? Your group is phenomenal. I can't believe how well you've done in just over a year. It's brilliant. And paddle's big here. It's growing every single day here in Qatar. You've got the football, obviously, but the tennis also. The Emir was going to be a professional tennis player. So you've got so many of the marketplace that you can give so much good, helpful advice and tips to all up and coming newcomers. What does the parents feel with it? What are the parents thinking? Their feedback when they're giving feedback on their children.
Parents, we got a more than positive feedback from the parents, because for example, play tennis more and play and repeat play, just play, and there is no technologies for progress, for see the progress and analyzing the technique. And parents amazed by our technologies and very satisfying. And I have a good news for you. We got a first-time customer out of MENA region from the London, that is parents, mother and father of the player with 11 years. And they were very, very amazed about the NSAtech because NSAtech provided more than 60 details about the technique, about the muscle involved. You can see which muscle work properly than elite player in all levels. And you can provide the technologies with NSAtech for injury prevention and predicting injury for kids, for amateur players and professional players. And we give some drills and feedback from the top level coach. That is very amazing. And we follow our fans, we follow our customer with our coach. And we give a drills, we give a feedback every day, and for bring a new Federer, new Nadal, and many Nadal and Federer and Djokovic and the soccer player. And our first product release next week. That is very, very good news for us. And this is very, very useful. And we present for some investor and partnership. And we got some negotiation. We had some negotiation with the Bayern Munich clubs and with some professional tennis academy like Rafa Nadal Academy and something, trying to connect with them. And we negotiated with the top level coach all around the world. And we got an internship from the Greece that is very, very, very professional scientists in the biomechanics side because we need them. And we got an ambassador from the Spain, and we develop our technologies as soon as possible in Italy and Spain, I think, and first in Mallorca.
That's phenomenal. And those 60 components that you pick up on, it's like 60. So you can pick up the muscle, what they should be doing for specific muscles?
Yes, this is very hard working because the technologies can't resolve and fix these problems for finding what is the muscle work properly in the human body when they're playing, for example, tennis and soccer. And we need a bit more time for providing many data and many, for example, collect many data and source. And that is very important for injury prevention. And because especially for amateur players, about the angle of, for example, angle of joints, decrease and increase, and posture. We just focus on this part for technologies and algorithms.
It is phenomenal. And the one thing I'm thinking of now, I'm in front of a camera and I see the camera pointing at me and I've got to talk into it. Remember, I'm talking into the camera, not my computer. But just tell me something. Is it very technical? So if I needed to set up I want to do a coaching session on myself. So I'm going to, or not myself, let's say my child. So have you got to have a team of professionals that come in with their cameras and set up like a studio? Is that the type of thing that you do?
Look, dear Steve, there is no need to install hardware in a stadium and court. You can just use our platform easily, very, very easily, to find the talents to compare the technique with the elite player. Just you should subscribe in our platform, and after that you select your favorite player and target player, for example, Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, and something. And after that, you got to analyzing 2D and 3D analyzing from your elite player, and you upload your video in of game and with some situation, and even you can capture directly on the court from your player as the coach, as the academy, and you can see analyzing very easily in the short time.
So this is going to be so easy for people to be able to do.
Yes, we're trying to to bring technologies in the easier than before.
Ishan, I'm going to bring you in here, and I'm just going to remind you you're on mute. But what is it for you? What excites you about NSA and what you're doing, Ishan?
If I want to complete what Hossein said, what we've tried to do from the very first point and first moment was to simplify this sophistication. When we are talking about these different angles, different muscles, when it comes to the techniques or whatever, you see there are many details in terms of technology, in terms of sports, in terms of physiology. But what you picked up as an example, like you said, did you need any hardware that is very professional or specified for this point? Indeed, it isn't. Very simply, these days everybody is carrying their cell phone. So with your cell phone, easily you can pick any or record any video that you like in any place you are. Plus, the more interesting issue is even the analysis afterwards. It's very easy. It's a sort of piece of cake. You as a parent or as a child can see your practice, your exercise versus very professional or reputable athlete. Based on the analysis we've provided, we show you by some colorful analysis very easily. For instance, if you consider green as a positive or as a correct action, or red as an incorrect one, easily you can see that which part is right, which part is not right. And easily you can analyze, okay, so I should work on this part of my body or this technique. I mean, this is very interesting point for me, and we've tried it to our best to make it very, very simplified. As we know that maybe all around the world will join us, and they surely have some technical limitations, some professional limitation, physical limitation, whatsoever. So we try to do so.
I think everybody around the world is going to try this. And I'm looking at it from the coach, because I always try to put myself in different positions here and think about the different things. So if I was a coach, for example, and I'm doing everything on my technique, on my understanding, on my experience, on my knowledge, I'm going to be taking all those factors into place when I'm looking at these stars, but then, or these talents. And then after, I can use your facilities and your software and platform where I can actually go into more depth and more kind of into more areas where I can make them a huge star.
Yeah, indeed, it is true.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Yes. Absolutely.
Phenomenal. And how you've already got revenues, I do believe, of about $7,000 a month.
Yes, we're trying for more than that, and because we need to develop more in the other countries, and for example in the Asian region and MENA region and Europe, and some and we just develop it and introduce these technologies and these opportunities. Thank you, dear Steve, for these opportunities, because we can introduce our technologies without any limitation to all around the world, and we are ready for give a licensing to clubs, academy, and coach, and for the first time free, just for test it and got a feedback, and after that can buy our technologies. And for clubs, for academy and coach, can test it free in the free, and we are ready for go to the markets.
It really is, and I've got to say, this is the first time that we spoke in detail about your product, and I just think it sounded before too good to be true. But you've got some traction with this. You've got some real top coaches saying that this is a fantastic app. From a scalability perspective, are you in a position now to take it all around the world? It's an application, so you could go anywhere with it, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, we plan, for the short-term target and short-term milestone we've planned so far. For instance, in a year time, We target to have at least 100,000 active users, regardless of their place. And maybe minimum, I'm talking about these figures as a minimum. Once around 100 clubs, we've started negotiation with those, and the few, few steps left for finalizing our agreements, our contracts, our mutual understanding about the project, and we try to make it as quick as possible and as professional as possible.
The great thing about this, and I'm seeing the benefits from a business perspective, but I'm also seeing about the way that you can touch other people's lives with this, right? And it's not just from a coaching perspective. I'm thinking about scouting, for instance. I'm going to look for talent. I know that sometimes managers have chose people on videos before. So they've looked at videos, they've liked what those people could do, and then they signed them. But you could virtually be sending these type of things so that you could say, hey, take a look at this person. This person has got the same skill set. Look at their techniques. This person's got the same skill sets. Yes. Ronald Rodinho or Ronaldo, sorry. So you could be shown, it could help in so many different ways, not just from a coaching perspective. Am I correct?
Yes. You will know, even we trying for broadcaster base, because just fans see and watch a playing, for example, and there is no new view and new analyzing for fans to raise the knowledge to knowing about, for example, the target player. You will know Cristiano Ronaldo transformed in the 2018 year, and in shortly time, in 24 hours, Juventus can sell more than 500,000 t-shirts from the Cristiano Ronaldo, and can and got a $50 million for that. Why? Because there are so many fans, there are so many lovers for Cristiano Ronaldo, similarity with the, for example, get and use the t-shirt for Cristiano Ronaldo. And what there is no technology is about the technique for similarity to Cristiano Ronaldo, and improve more like Cristiano Ronaldo, and can predict the talents for the future. And this is very good for broadcaster base, and our technologies, as you well mentioned before, it's very useful for clubs, academy, coach, broadcaster, parents, and this is very huge markets. But we should, for the first, just focus on the one market and develop more for spread the markets and develop the markets.
And again, all these things are flooding into my head at the moment. You could be one of the biggest scouts on a global basis when it came to tennis or football, where people that and where all these talents around the world, they don't get this opportunity, but they've been practicing and practicing and practicing, but they never get spotted. But if they came onto your app, I suppose your software, your algorithms could actually be picking up this talent too, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I congratulate all of you. And it's like with a year, a company that started a year, and you've got 11 members in your team, you're all dedicated. This is just, it really is. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect today. I really didn't. And I am absolutely overwhelmed by it. I think that the potential that you've got is just, you're going to absolutely smash it. And I don't think there's any problems with scalability. I think you've got it to a stage where people are commenting. You're in talks with Bayern Munich. You're in talks with so many different other big associations. The world's your oyster. It's all coming to you. You've just got to, as you said, work hard. What you said, you just briefly spoke about trying to get 100,000 athletes on your application. What's your ultimate, just in the short term, a year, what are those benchmarks that you're trying to reach apart from the 100,000?
Yes.
Okay. Hassan, please.
Please go ahead. That's fine.
No problem. No.
Okay. What I told you, it's not just about the coaches, you know. What I said is about users. The users could be on either side. It could be on the coach side or on the person who wants to train. And you know, regarding the point that you've mentioned earlier, for being excellent or to excel yourself, you know, there is no end. Even a coach could be better and better. So the coaches could be on two sides. I can imagine train somebody, but somebody else can train me. So it's a mutual and it's an endless process. So when we link and we have this application, let's say, or this platform, all can join together and the number will dramatically increase because they are interested, they get what they want, they can give what they want. And from the revenue perspective, you know, for talent identification, you mentioned that's quite hard these days. It's great, it's a fortune because easily you can pick a talent from a place that's not so developed. The expectations are so low, so you can pick it to a very good club, very good country with a very, I mean, nothing in your perspective. And then after a while, training that person, make that person perfect, then transfer it. And you know, via this transfer, thousands, millions, billions, maybe is yours.
It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And I'm going to ask you both this question now. If you were to give a bit of advice, and I'll come to you first, Hossein. If you were going to give a bit of advice to a startup, what would it be?
Yeah.
I should say that, in honestly speaking, just hardworking, just see the real sticks, just real sticks. For example, about the markets, about the technologies, and get a feedback from your markets. For example, coach and academy. We had a research in the markets and in the LinkedIn, Instagram, and with the top level coaches, with the top level players, with the players. And you should have a research before you launch the technologies. That is very important. And consistency on the technologies and hope to the future and trying to get the big future, it's more important. And that is very, very, very important. And I think without hardworking, there is no good future. There is no good, for example, delighting for future. And I should say thanks to our team for hardworking and consistency in the working and just focus and concentrate. It's more than important than all thing, and concentrate on your technologies, on dear Steve, in honestly speaking, for NSAtech team, there is no leisure time. There is no free time. There is no, for example, go out for playing something and so on. Just drink the tea and come back to the work and working hard and concentrate on the technologies. That is not easy for all persons. And I think this is very important.
Fantastic. And you, Hossein?
Thank you.
Yeah, it's somehow the same, but if I want to add some points, the dedication that our team made to our platform, our startup, was so great. You know, we reached to this point because they lower their expectations in personal perspective, but they make it tremendous. They make it endless for the team. So they didn't expect any other person to care about them, but they cared so much about the team, about the objectives, about what we were targeting to reach. So I think for the others, it could be helpful.
And the final question, and I know this answer already, but I'm going to ask you, Hossein, tell me what it was like for you and your team to get into the QST?
Perfect. I should say thanks. In honestly speaking, that's finding the right person. It's very important. QST program, it's very amazing. And as you well mentioned before, phenomenal, very, very good place for develop or your mind. And there are so many mentors all around the world, more than 50 mentors, and many partnership of position, many investor opportunities. We need a place for prove ourselves. You well know startups need a place. A QSC program, it's very amazing and very helpful for us. And I introduce QST to all startups. I see the person in the startups, I introduce QST, and just go to the QST program. You can develop. Dear Steve, we came from the other MVP before joining the QST program. At this time, you can see our progress easily, and you can see our developing and our progress that is very useful about the QST program. And I should say thanks to QST program and Heba and some team, other team, and very, very funny, very, very entertained, very, very effective about some exercise, yoga, entertainment, social meetup, and close together with other startups. There is no competition. This is the family, not a startups competition. We are in competition, but we are friends at the first with QSC program. And after that, we can competition in startups.
I've got to say, I know that QST are very proud of you being associated with their program, and they're very excited about your opportunities. I know that. I've spoken to Salman. I spoke to Salman about it. I tried to get some inside information. I remember, to see whether you got in, and he wasn't going to give me any of the answers. He wouldn't tell me until the release date. So when I saw you on the one of the 10, it made me really, really, really happy. Congratulations. Thank you for sharing with me today on our show. You've got a phenomenal story. And before we do go, how do they get into, they go to your website? How would they get to kind of visit you and download and do everything that they need to do?
For the next week, our platform is completely ready for using, and this is NSAtech.co. NSAtech.co, and this is multiple platform that like a PWA version you can use for the TV, for the mobile, for the MacBook and a smartwatch. That is very easily to use, and next week it's launch for the first time.
I wish you every
final product.
I wish you every success. I hope you promise me that you'll come back on the show when you've got your 100,000. Please come back on and share that with us. It's been an honor and a privilege to have you on the show today. I thank you both, really, from the bottom of my heart. You really do deserve everything that's coming to you. I know you work so hard. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here.
We got a $500 just 2-3 weeks working on the markets, and yes, we come back soon to you with the big markets, big partnership and investor. And dear Steve, we need some person like you with positive energy. Thank you so much for give us the positive energy, very, very cheerful, and thank you so much for your coming and consideration and give opportunities to us.
Seriously, I think you've got a massive future, literally a massive future, and I'm privileged. Again, I'm going to say it again. I'm privileged that you've shared it with us today. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Everybody, you can see this. If you believe in something, you go out and you get it. You don't give in, you push as hard as you got. And if you haven't got any more, you give it a little bit more, because any time that you get something, there's going to be people that help you along the way. You've just got to keep your ears and your eyes open, and you've got to look at every opportunity that comes along. It's there for you. Just keep pushing. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this much as I did. Thank you very much. Everyone, thank you for listening. Please send us your feedback on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And don't forget to review us on your favorite podcast app.